it's funny because the first couple songs I always come in here and it's kind of like thinking about stuff, and then about that third song it's like, all right, and it just kind of goes, ah. And I hope for you that tonight you kind of just go, ah, and you can just sit, enjoy the setting, and just allow God to connect with you. So when we go to the beach, me and my family, and the beach experience now is totally different than it used to be without kids. But with kids now, it's like, I feel like we're going camping, but we're just going to the beach. Because it's like, we've got this like cart thing that I tow. I've got chairs, and Lindsay's got like 3 bags, because we got to be prepared for everything. And so we go to the beach, and one of the things that's fun for me is to show Kingston the waves. And we were just up hanging out with my brother and their family, and one of the things that Kingston loves to walk right up to the waves and look at them, but he's a little afraid to go in. And so one of the things I'll do is I'll go out there, show him, and then he'll go, and like, Daddy, and so I'll come back, I'll pick him up, and then and he's all excited, and then I take him out there, and we get into the waves, and then he feels them start hitting him, and he does this face where he's just like, and it's like he's scared, but he's excited, and he's happy, and it's this cool moment where my son puts his life in my hands, and he trusts me. Okay, he's scared of the water, but he trusts me. I think one of the most significant phrases, but one of the most misused and abused phrases that we have is the phrase, trust me. And one of the things that Solomon is going to talk about tonight in this proverb is trusting God. And I want to remind you that as we go through these, the goal isn't to take you to some place, theologically that you've just never been in your life and all this. These are very high-level principles, but the ramifications are, if you just do these things, it's crazy what happens in your life. And we read about like what God promises as a result of us doing this. And so tonight we're just going to look at what this is to trust God, and what does Solomon, the wisest man to ever live, have to say about it. And so in Proverbs 3, 1 and 2, and it'll be on the screen, it says, "My child, never forget the things I have taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years and your life will be satisfying." Okay, like everyone wants that. If you do this, you will live many years and your life will be satisfying. I want to have a satisfied life. Like, I don't want, like I don't know about you, but whenever my time is up, like, I want to be the person at the end of the race that's exhausted. I don't want to be like before God and still be warming up and being like, oh man, that was it. Like, I want to stand before God and just be like, oh, it's about time. Because I'm so exhausted from going after this and living this life with this incredible opportunity that we all have. And as he says this, he says, "Never forget these things I've taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you'll have peace and you'll live a long time." I preach on this. I talk about this. I encourage you to open this, to read this. That's why. That's why. No one else can say, if you do my words, this is what will happen. But when God says this through the wisest man to ever live, and he says this to us and says, this is important, not for you just to read, to check off a list, to say I read through the Bible in a year. Some of these reading plans, they just need to go away, because we just read and we're accomplishing tasks, really, as opposed to just allowing one verse to just sink in. And that's the thing I love about Proverbs, is you can't just read Proverbs through. If you read Proverbs through, you just miss it. You've got to just sit there and go, wait a second, what does this mean? And what does this mean for me? And I think right out the gate, he's just trying to communicate like this is not something you read to read, and don't just listen to my words to listen, to check it off, or say, wow, I learned all the Proverbs, or I memorized all the Proverbs, but write it on the tablets in your heart is what it says actually in another version. It's got to be in our heart. There's a huge distance between your head and your heart. This has got to be there. I think, as I raise kids and as I look at us having a kids ministry, I think that's one of the things I'm so passionate about, is I don't want my kids to grow up looking at this as something to accomplish, but looking at this as this is the words of God that lead to an incredible relationship with God. And I think that's something for all of us that we need to remember. In Proverbs 3 through 4, then, it says, "Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Do you see that? Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Okay, Christian, if you're a Christian, let me say this one more time. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. This is one of these things that we need to sit on. Okay, and as it says, I mean, we read it and we look at this, and it says literally to tie those things around your neck. And as we think about that, I read that. I've read that verse many, many times. And in particular, this chapter is a very popular chapter. And I think a lot of us read these verses many times. But I think the question for us is, do I really read it and allow it to sink in and become a part of my life? Because if I did, it said, tie it around your neck. So loyalty and kindness isn't something that I read and I go, oh, wow. No, it's something that I tie around my neck. I have no idea how horrible the tie job I just did was. No idea. But I just applied in some way what this said. And I think when I think of where we're at and the things I hear come out of people that say they love Jesus and are about Jesus, and the things I see, it is like the most opposite of that I can think of. And somewhere along the line, we've taken words like that, we've used them to start churches, we've used them to inspire people and all this, but they've lost their significance because we didn't really tie them. We just kind of used and abused them as opposed to tying them around my neck so that wherever I go, loyalty and kindness are marks of Steve's life. And that's a huge thing for us today because, like I said, when I look at our culture right now and I think about where we're at, man, this verse is critical for us to get, to understand. If you know, and I'll just say this, like one of the things that drives me crazy is when I have to like deconstruct someone's views of God because they've got such a negative perception of God because of people that are saying they're Jesus followers, and yet those things are far from their lives. Tie them around your neck. And these are things, as we look at trust, he says these are things that you do because you trust God. I was having a conversation with this individual, and we were talking about ideas, and we were talking about staff. And he was telling me how loyalty is not even applicable. It's not important to all these things. And it was a very interesting conversation I was having with him. And I was just kind of letting him talk about it. And as I walked away, I just started thinking about loyalty. And then I just started thinking, okay, what are the characteristics of my true friends that I really like? My true friends, or people that I've even worked with historically that I still have a relationship with, that I still appreciate, or even my wife. When I think of like my wife who's stuck with me for the rest of her life, and I think of all these things like what is it about those relationships that's significant, that sticks out? One of the things that I just kept coming away with was loyalty. It was loyalty. And I talked to the guy, and I said, honestly, I disagree with you. I disagree. I can see where you're coming from, but I really disagree because the meaningful relationships that I have in my life, and I know what I love about my wife so much, and the true friends that I have in my life there is a degree of loyalty there that I never even think about. Because it's there, and I know it's there, and it's something really strong. And when you think about the people that you respect in your life, the common characteristics of close friends that you have, many of them are there because of what? Because of loyalty. So many people you respect because of the loyalty they've shown to you. When you think of the people that you used to be close with, but you're not anymore, a lot of it has to do with loyalty. Former coworkers, lack of loyalty. Spouse, former spouse, former girlfriends, boyfriends, former close friends go through something and you see that there wasn't loyalty. And it's hard. I think when we look at this, and it's something that's very important to us, but it's something that we so often struggle with. And one of the things that I was thinking about this is we all have within us this desire to be loyal to someone, and I think we all within us have a desire for someone to be loyal to us. And I think we look for that. And as we talk about this, just let me say this though, loyalty should not mean you're a victim. Because I hear a lot done and going, well, I'm just being loyal. Well, you're a victim now, okay? So loyalty does not mean you get to be a punching bag. That's not what he's talking about, okay? He's not talking about people that are abusing your loyalty. There are many relationships in my life that have changed over the years as a result of me just having a conversation with someone that I'm really loyal to, that I love, and just saying, hey, listen, you're going down this road. I can't go down this road with you. Like, I'm here, and I'm not changing my phone number, and so you can reach out at any point in time, but you are headed down this road, and I can't go down this road with you. So I'm still loyal to them. I'll be there for them, but I can't take that road with them because now I'm enabling, or I become this victim or this punching bag. And so I'll just, let me be clear on that, because the other thing is like abuse. Like if you're being physically or verbally abused, you don't just go, oh, well, I'm just being loyal. No, that's a cycle that has to stop. Okay, that has to stop. But our culture, in general, has creeped away from this loyalty concept and moved towards what? Whatever tastes better, looks better, whatever is more pay, whatever gives me higher ranking, if it is in this area, and we just go after it, don't we? And it's like, the grass is always greener on the other side, and we just bolt like, oh, that person's really, I connect with them. And then we're just like, hey, friends, cool. Well, you're not as cool as them. So we go after that relationship. And then in our careers, we love our job, but all of a sudden this thing offers me all these things. And I don't even think about this. I just like, I go after it. And I just leave all these people in the dust, these people that love me or I have a relationship with that are loyal. And all of a sudden they all feel used and abused. And it's this culture, honestly, that we have where it's just we always go after something that's better, and loyalty now is just like whatever. That's an old school thing. And there's all these wounded people. And one of the things that I love how it says is loyal people are loved by people and they're loved by God. One of the things that I love about this Bible is it not only teaches you about the love of God, but as you pursue the love of God, honestly, people start loving you because of how you love as a result of God. And when you think about wanting to make an impact where you're at, wherever you're at, the business, wherever you go to school, whatever that is, just demonstrate loyalty and you'll be amazed at the respect you get. When you want an impact in your relationship with Jesus, be loyal to Jesus. Don't be a seasonal friend to someone. And don't be a seasonal Christian if you call yourself a Christian. And loyalty means you can disagree, okay? Because sometimes loyalty means there's a separation. And you just are like, you know what? I'm still loyal to you. I love you, but we got to have some separation here for our health. Sometimes loyalty means I confront a friend because I'm loyal and because I love them. The next thing it says is kindness. Now, you're like, wow, Steve, that's mind-blowing, kindness. Well, it is. It's huge. It says if you trust God, you will be kind to people. There are so many of you in this room that are in this room and you love Jesus because someone was kind to you. That's it. Some of you are in this room, you're curious about Jesus, about this whole thing about God, because someone was just kind to you. Some of us, and there's people that are on the flip side that hate Jesus as a result of somebody not being kind, but quoting Jesus. There's people that are anti-God because of a lack of kindness that's been shown. There are people that fight churches in their neighborhoods, in their areas, because of a lack of kindness. And so one of the things that when you read something that you go, oh, yeah, I should be kind, once again, no. Is this something that I'm tying around my neck? Not something I read, but am I known for my kindness to people? My loyalty and my kindness, because if I'm known for being kind, listen, you will have so many doors open to you within relationships and just opportunities in general. If you are just a kind person, if you go out of your way to make someone else feel valuable, or you empower them, or you take interest to them, or you just listen to them. I was very open a couple weeks ago, or it might have been last week, how my struggle is to really and some of you that know me, you know this, and don't take it personal, I really struggle just listening. So you'll be talking, and I'm like, listen, baby, just listen. And it's so hard for me. But I need to do that because that's one of the ways that I'm showing and demonstrating kindness. And there's certain components that are hard. What happens when they don't deserve my kindness? This and that. But this is a huge, huge deal. And I think it's such a big deal because right now, everything that is said is being put out on social media and exploding on social media. I was sent by I don't know how many people about this pastor about preaching these horrific comments about the incident in Orlando. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And this thing had, I don't know how many views. Then all of a sudden, that's all these people's perception of Jesus. And I just go, oh. It's so sad to me. You got to be careful. Is what you're saying kind? Because one of the things that the church will start and has started getting the reputation of is it has a bunch of good principles, but no one applies them. And it's the least grace-giving, loving environment you can be in. And it is so, so sad to me. And so one of the things that I'll just challenge all of us with is, you can either run from it and disassociate with that, or you can change it. Change the perception. Let's change it. It starts with you being loyal and being kind to people. Let's change the perception of when people hear the word Christian or Jesus follower. What does that mean? Well, I don't know, but I know that person believes that, and they are very kind to me. They've been loyal to me when no one else was there for me. And they believe that. And you start changing the perception. It's like whenever someone says, I can't believe you're having kids in this culture. Well, I can either just go, oh no, or culture, or man, I can start having kids and going, we're going to change this culture. I'm going to start raising some kids and some boys, apparently only boys, because that's all I apparently can do. But we're going to raise some godly boys. You can change culture. Change the perception. And he says, write that. Tie that around your neck. And then Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Give to the Lord every area in your life and place everything in his hands. Just as Kingston comes to the edge of the water and says, let's go, take me out into the water. We have to do the same thing with Jesus. And it's not, hey, Jesus, let's go. I don't know. I've got a lot with me. No, it's Jesus. It's not holding anything back. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. All of your heart. Give him full access. For some of you tonight, tonight would just be mind-blowing if nothing else, you just address things in your heart that you're holding on to, that you have not allowed him to have access into, to change, and just to take. And that's huge. You know, when I think of the areas in my life that I struggle and I hold on to, and we all have different things that we're like, man, God, this is cool, and I'll do this, but man, this area here, this is my control thing. This is what I have to have, and He's like, man, just let go. When we were having our first child and we're in the hospital, one of the things that just overwhelmingly was real to me is how I have zero control over what's happening, like zero, and I'm just sitting there. And I'm just praying, and then when it gets real, like all these doctors come into the room, and I'm like, okay, that's good, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I was just thinking, like, I don't know what's going to happen here, and I have no control over any of this, and I'm just praying. And I think sometimes in our lives, we just have to have those moments where you just sit there and you go, I have no control over this, and God goes, you're right. You actually have no control over anything. So why not just trust me with everything? And that's hard for me because I think too we're a culture that likes our stuff. We like what we accomplish. We like what we can do. We like what we have worked for and gained. And it's so hard to even think of letting go or placing that all in God's hands because, oh my gosh, what if He calls me to Africa? You know, like, what if He calls me to plant a church? I'll be there for you. Counseling. But we think about it, and we're like afraid, and it's crazy to me because we're afraid, and yet He talks about all that happens if we will trust Him in every area of your life. And it says this, don't depend on your own understanding. Oh my goodness, this is so difficult because so much in here doesn't make sense to me. Like it does, so much in here is like, no way, how? This is crazy, what? And then there's things in here that honestly, they're in here and I don't like them. I don't like them. Like there's certain things that happen in our culture and I'm like, God, I disagree with you. I disagree. Or I don't, and I go through that. And one of the things that is huge for me, and it's huge for all of us in our relationship with God, is to get to the point where our own inability to grasp God, we start taking Him down to our level of thinking to where if it makes sense to me, I'll bring God into it. But if it doesn't align with how I feel about this or think about this, then it's probably not. No. He says, and don't lean on your own understanding, okay? Because our understanding is like this. And He's God. And it's like, well, wait a second. I don't fully get, so no. And He's like, well, if you fully got me, I wouldn't be God. And so many times what we don't know, what we don't understand, what we don't comprehend, but it is truth, we go against it because we're like, no, I don't, that doesn't make sense to me. It was never designed to make sense to you. It only needs to make sense to the perfect all-knowing God who gave His one and only Son to build a bridge to you because He loves you so much. That's it. Sometimes I just need protection from me because I try and make God align with Steve. It's funny because, when I take Kingston in the water, he disagrees with how far out we can go. And Lindsay even disagrees a little bit on how far out we could go. But we go out in this water, and to me, the deeper you get, it's more fun and exciting for the waves. And as we go through that, you see him, do that face, and he gets more like, oh, and then all of a sudden, no, Daddy, no. And then as a responsible, loving dad, I go, well, we can push this a little farther, son. Let's go. And because he's got to be a man, And so we'll go out a little far. No, Dad. And because these are moments where I'm like, no, we can push the envelope. We can do anything, son. And we go out farther and a little farther, but those moments are scary for him, and I think that's how it is in our lives with God, where there's moments that I don't know what He's doing. I don't agree with the depth that He's taking me to. I don't agree with the route He's got me on. I know He could do this, but for whatever reason, He's not. I feel like this is going on, and I just need to put my arms down and say, God, You know the depth that I can survive at, and You love me way more than I love me. just take me out into the water. Let's do it. And I just trust him. And I quit whining. I quit fighting him. I quit trying to make everything logical to me. I just go, okay, God, I trust you. I trust you with my life. And then lastly, it says, if you seek his will in all you do, he will show you the path, okay? If you seek his will, and here's the key, in all that you do, it's not in some of the things you do, but if you seek his will in all that you do, he'll show you the path. If you seek his will, when we talk about, I get asked this all the time. I wish I got paid every time I got asked this, like how do I know what God's will is here, Steve? How do I know what the right thing is I'm supposed to do here, or the path, or the job, or the career? And it comes right back down to this verse in 3:6. Seek his will in all that you do, and he will show you which path to take. But the problem, the key here, is seeking him in everything that we do. Remember, the big point of tonight is trusting him and giving him access into every area of your life. And when you talk about every area of your life, when I say I'm going to seek him for the next steps of my life, my family, am I going to marry them? Am I going to bury them? All these things. I need to know, but am I seeking him in all the areas of my life? Or am I still just going, yeah, I'm seeking him because I go to church, or I'm seeking him because I pray to him every now and again, or I seek to him because I've been reading this thing. No. It says when you seek with him in every area of your life, you will find him and he will show you the path that you need to take. And it comes back to trust. If I don't have full leverage of trust with God, it's like some of your cell phone carriers out in the woods. It's like, oh my goodness. How do I get a hold of these people? I can't get any reception or anything. And that's what it's like when we're trying to hear from God, and it's like these pieces of this and that, and we're pulling all this stuff to find something because we're refusing to just do it his way. When if we just did it his way, it would be like driving in a country road in Ohio at night and turning on your high beams. Poof. It's crazy. If you've never left Southern California, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But there's a thing called high beams in your car. We call them brights. And if you go somewhere out in the woods at night, and dark, not like San Diego dark. It's never dark, okay? But I'm talking dark. And you turn on your brights, it is like, when we were just in Ohio, I was just like, I can see colors. It's so bright. It was amazing. And that's how it is. That's what God does. When I am giving him all access and I'm just seeking his will and I'm not just doing it here, but I'm just like, God, I'm seeking you this way. Whatever way I can think of to find you, God, I'm gonna seek you out. I want to know your will for me in this direction. And when I do that, when I open myself up, when I just trust him and give him full access, he does that. He turns the brights on. And sometimes the brights go on and there's a deer in the middle of the road, right? And you freak. But other times, the brights go on and it saves you from the deer. Other times, the brights go on and it illuminates this incredible path, this incredible view, this drive, and you go, wow, God, this is so cool. But he does that for us. Give him full access. And then I just want to read this to you because, Solomon had a pretty smart dad as well, kind of a famous dad named David. And I think he stole some of this from his dad. And in Psalm 37, and we don't have them because I just picked this up a little bit early and it's not going to be on the screen, but I just want you to listen to me because David says this in relation to trust as well. And I think Solomon jacked it from his dad. And so we're just going to say it because David says it so well. And I want to close with these verses. It just says in 37, 3-5, trust in the Lord, and do good. Then you will live safely in the land and prosper. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him, and he will help you. Trust him, delight in him, commit everything unto him, and trust. Again, in case you didn't hear me at first, trust everything to him. We had some friends visiting us from up north, up Washington, where I'm from, and they were visiting us, and they had kids with them. They weren't their kids, and I think they were grandkids. And they come over to our house, and they're visiting us, and they're staying at a hotel, and they come over, and we didn't let the kids go upstairs. We're like, Oh, you have enough? Yeah, we do, but you can't go up there. Like, we didn't want them to go upstairs. Like, you stay downstairs and hang out, but no one's going upstairs, right? We didn't want them going up there, messing with stuff, seeing stuff, all these things, okay? And so we're like, we all can hang out in the communal area, but don't go upstairs, all right? And that's a private thing, da-da-da. And so we kept them out of the upstairs. And that was really not a big deal, right? The problem is I do that with God all the time. I say, God, I trust you. I'm all in with you, God. Whatever you want, I surrender it. God, I trust you. I'm pursuing you in every area. And I invite you to have full access into my life. And so, bam, 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 there he is knocking at my house, my heart. And I go, oh, you're here. Why don't you clean this? Why don't you hang in the dining room area and the living room, but don't go up there. Just don't go up there. And so one of the major things with all of us is we're like, no, I love Jesus and all this. I'm not saying you don't love Jesus. I'm just saying we put conditions on the ability for him to have access into our lives, and we wonder why we're not experiencing the fullness of all that he has for us. But really, you experience the fullness when you give him full access. And for me, that's huge because, like I said, I want to control. I want to have Steve's thing. And it's not that he's like, I want to take all your fun away. That's not at all God. God loves you so much. He created the desire for you to have fun. All these things that are in you that you have no idea, that you experience joy. God did all of that. And he just says, give me free reign into your house. Give me all access and watch what I'll do with your life. But for whatever reason, because I keep holding on to this stuff, because I keep reading this book, but I don't tie it around my stinking neck, I don't get the full access of God in my life. And I don't get that freedom that I keep reading about. And I don't get the answers that I'm asking for, that I keep reading I'll get, because I'm not giving him full access. And for some of us, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And you just need to tonight tie the stinking tie around your neck and just stop reading it to read it. And just for a second, there's like 5 verses there. Just sit in that, embrace it, and go, God, I need to let you in the upstairs. I need to get this is ugly here, and no one knows about it, but it's time. Because it says when you pursue him with all your heart, listen, I don't care how small your attic is, it's still there. And whatever's in your attic could still distract from being able to hear what God wants to give you. We have some people staying at our house because we're headed to Phoenix tomorrow. We're probably the only people in Southern California headed to Arizona tomorrow. It's supposed to be a cool 110 tomorrow. And we're headed out there, and we've got some people coming to our house, and they don't have any rules when they come over and stay at our house. Like they probably know more about my house than I do. And so we literally just drop the keys and we head out, okay? Drop the keys and just head out with God. Just drop the keys. Okay? Just give him access in your house and go on vacation. Get your comprehension, your ability to comprehend. Just get it out. And just allow him to live in your house and take control. That's it. That's my message. And listen, when I, this is really uncomfortable. I hate ties. I put them on when I marry and bury people. But it's something that really stuck out to me when I read it, because I think I'm just one of those people sometimes that reads it to study it, to give it to someone else, and it doesn't penetrate my heart, and I knew I needed to do this. But you know what's awesome when I trust God is it feels like when I take off a tie that I've had on. It's like I can breathe again. It's freedom. And that's part of what happens. See, when he's talking about these proverbs and this and that, he's not doing it so it's like a noose around your neck. He's actually doing it, and he's saying this is actually going to be like untying the tie and you're going to feel so free. This is not a book about bondage, regardless of what you hear or people are putting out. It is a book about freedom and an intense love that an all-powerful God has for you. Give him the access and the keys to your house. Let me pray. God, thank you for tonight. Thank you for the relationship that you have opened yourself up to have with me and to so many of us in this room that don't deserve that. We haven't earned it. We haven't been kind enough. We haven't been loyal enough. We haven't trusted you enough. So many things that we haven't done enough, and yet you're still here. You're with us. You're saying, I'm listening, and I still love you. And Lord, you haven't closed the book on any of us in this room. In fact, some of us, we're experiencing new beginnings. You're reviving us even. And so, Lord, as we experience the awe of you again, as we open our minds and our hearts to you again, I just pray that God, as we open your words and your book, as we look at these things, that, Lord, we wouldn't just read them to know them, but we would read them because we want to write them on the tablets of our heart. We want to tie them around our neck. We want them to be a part of everything that we believe in, the coworkers, the people we're around. God, some of the greatest messages are going to come from us just being kind, loyal, and just trusting you. God, I need help with my trust in you on a daily basis. But Lord, when I give you full access, you fill in the gap for me, and you make my house complete. Thank you, God. Thank you for coming through in the moments where I've trusted you and I didn't see how you would do it, but you did it. And Lord, thank you that your wisdom supersedes mine, because when I think life can't get better, you do something and blow me away. Thank you for these moments, God. In Jesus' name, amen.